You ever just watch a show and, see yourself, literally you in a fictional setting? Maybe a little exaggerated here and there, maybe a little less multidimensional, but you? It's kind of weird, but cool. Definitely a confidence booster if the character is badass in the way you really want to be, but maybe aren't. Or if they have the colorful cotton candy hair you've wanted all your life. But seriously, as someone who's been an avid anime watcher for a decade now, I have come across my Cutie doppelganger every now and then. And no, I'm not just talking about every anime girl under the sun with brunette hair. Insert joke about Asuna here. I'm talking about the characters who don't just look like me, they act like me. For better or for worse. And others, they embody parts of me I'd never actually seen well represented in a fictional setting before. It's kind of cool. A lot of this boils down to the struggle of not having much good, realistic female representation in media in general, until more recently, and even then, it's not perfect now. But the rest, it's just me personally not feeling the connection with the female characters I did see. Even if they were genuinely really interesting, strong female characters that I loved, they just didn't feel like, me. Because at the end of the day, I'm a very specific combo of hyper feminine and hyper masculine. Think of the pretty pink-haired anime girl, and then just mix that with Rin's vibe in the Blue Exorcist opening. Or, in a non-anime example, I like to say I'm like a mix of Daphne Blake and Dean Winchester. Not trying to turn this into an I'm not like the other girls thing, because the truth is, all of us are the other girls. Every single one of us. There is no escape. But, it's just something I've always noticed growing up. All the fight scenes I really loved, the ones that pumped me up the most and made me want to learn martial arts on the spot, never involved girls. And when they did, the girl usually lost, had to be rescued, or was immediately overshadowed by the OP protagonist. Now, technically, all characters get overshadowed by the OP protagonist eventually, at least in the majority of classic shonen and seinen anime, but there's also the point that these kind of anime rarely have a female protagonist to begin with. And when they do, she's just... Don't get me wrong, sexy is good. Sexy is very good. And when it's on equal terms, I'm all here for it. That's one of the few things Fairy Tail did right, if you know what I mean.
No stripping in my house, buddy!
But when it's not, it gets a lot less fun, a lot faster. All that to say, Shikimori. Shikimori Calliope! Okay, we're gonna try to do this. I need new makeup brushes. I also need new foundation and eyeshadow. We'll get there. Just put it on the tissue. I've totally done this before. There we go. Look a little bit more like a Victorian ghost now. So my natural skin tone is showing underneath all the red finally. Okay, next up, makeup. I don't think she really wears eyeshadow. Maybe I need to look at reference. No, she doesn't really. It's more of like a eye definition. Okay, trying to go for like a Mori Calliope vibe. No, I don't have the cosplay. I really want it. I know it exists, but it's expensive. I will get it. I will do it eventually, okay? The piece de la résistance. Nah, dude. I think my hair looks better. This is the most recent example of a character I really connected with. In an instance where I actually read the manga before watching the anime, I was so into it. It's so good. At least, the Shikimori moments are good. I didn't really like her boyfriend. He had his moments, just, not enough spice for me. So, essentially, a popular, highly combat proficient girl falls for the most danger-prone guy on the planet. She swears to protect him from all harm and continuously does so, and it's so good. It would be even better if she was dating like, Miyamura from Horimiya, and no, that wouldn't really work either because they're both too nice. Maybe if he had like Hori's personality, yeah. That right there is a perfect romance story. Anyway, back to the topic. There have been several more characters I've related to a lot, for one reason or another. Like how there's literally a character in Attack on Titan that not only looks like me, but is also named Carly. But none of them have really maintained that vibe as I've continued to grow and get older. As much as Mutsu. Her episodes of Focus, when they really dive into Mutsu's background and why she does what she does, in particular, do a really good job of portraying her connection to Sakamoto without making him the main character of her story. But, quick overview. Mutsu is introduced as a friend/ally/employee of sorts to Tatsuma Sakamoto, one of the protagonists of the story, Gintoki's oldest friends. Essentially, she's the Zoro to Sakamoto's Luffy. And funnily enough, when they meet, she's actually a pirate, so... at the time, she's cold and ruthless, being the vice commander of the Chidori 2nd Division at only age 14. And then Sakamoto is a chaotic prisoner on board the ship. Mutsu's episodes of Focus flash back and forth between this period of her life and the present, where her old crewmates have taken Sakamoto hostage in order to get their ship back. And it all ends up being a ploy to lure Mutsu out, the former captain of the crew holding the biggest grudge against her personally. And the whole thing culminates in her absolutely wrecking the bad guys, as she's revealed to be a Yato, super strong warrior race that the main character Kagura is also part of. And then we get the scene that really made the arc for me. After Sakamoto is given his spiel about what his crew, especially Mutsu, means to him, we also get to see Mutsu's side of things. Tying back to repeated phrasing associating Mutsu with diamonds, as she's facing down her former captain, she says this.
Remember this. I'm not a pebble that moron picked up. The one who found a pile of gems back then? Was me.
It's so good! A female character, and a pretty minor one in the series at that, got her own arc, her own villain of the week, and her own badass one-liner before she delivers the final blow to said villain of the week. Is the majority of this story played for laughs? It's Gintama, of course it is. But also because it's Gintama, it has this serious edge in conjunction with the humor. And despite repeatedly trying to kill Sakamoto herself over the course of the story, not one of those moments are played seriously, because let's face it, it's pretty clear what kind of damage she can do when she's serious. And the moments where she is actually being genuine, we get to see how much he actually means to her, and it's so good! In case you can't tell, I do like Sakamoto. My type is either sunshine or angry housewife, but, ideally both. At the end of the day, neither Shikimori or Mutsu is exactly like me. 2D characters can't match an actual person. Shocker. But really, Mutsu's way harsher, and Shikimori doesn't really care about herself enough, or at all, really. It's really annoying, and not to mention that one scene.
はい、大丈夫です。Too damn bad! 最近は美味しく感じるんですよ。どこかの誰かさんがいつも嬉しそうに食べるところ見てたからかな。
And yet, I still relate to so much of their individual character. Seeing both of them for the first time was like staring back at a part of me I'd never seen outside myself before. And it's a feeling unlike any other. It keeps you from forgetting that part of yourself, like so many of us do when we're surrounded by personalities we don't really mesh with. And as corny as it sounds, it helps you grow. So, those were two anime characters I've heavily related to, and feel free to share your 2D doppelgangers in the comments below. And after you like and subscribe. And as always, remember to prepare your annual offerings to Mariah Carey. It's almost here, you can't escape, all I want for Christmas is...